Welcome everybody to the All About Cats live stream of me, Tabitha Kucera, answering all of your burning cat behavior questions, which I know so many of us have. So I was going to start with telling everyone a little bit about me as people start to come in and join. So my name is Tabitha Kucera. I am the owner of Chirps and Chatter Cat and Dog Behavior Consulting in Cleveland, Ohio. Let me know where you're from. Fun times. I am a registered veterinary technician. I'm an elite, fear-free, and low-stress handling certified professional. I'm also a certified cat behavior consultant, a Karen Pryor Academy certified training partner, and love all things cat and dog behavior. I know sometimes cats are very misunderstood, which is why I love having these fun events to, why does my cat knock things over? Or why is my cat fearful of blank? Because we could fill that in with so many things. Sylvania, welcome. That's amazing. I'm from Ohio. The weather's beautiful today. I hope the weather's beautiful where you are as well. I'm so happy to be doing this live stream. I'm used to doing streams with other people, so this is new to me, but try new things. It's fun. I could talk cats forever. So I'm going to let you guys start to put in your questions in the chat on YouTube and Facebook. And as those are coming in, I will answer as many as I can. But don't forget, you can always get more expert insights, including more from me at the All About Cats Community Forum, which is listed right here in this beautiful little link. I am reading some of these lovely... No, it's not. It's storming. Oh, no, it's storming by you. Yeah, it's beautiful. I was like, I'm wearing a dress today. I'm going to talk cats. It's going to be amazing. So if you guys want to throw in some of your cat behavior questions, that would be awesome. And that's what this is going to be doing, me reading all of these lovely comments. Okay, let's see here. Oh, this is an interesting question. And I will do my best to answer because behavior is complex, right? You could just be like, hey, Tabitha, stop being afraid of that thing. But why am I afraid of it? What's my learning history, my past history with that? It's complex. So I will do my best. So it looks like Lynn has a question. Her cat, she has a spayed 9-month-old kitten. Thank you for providing the age. That's important. And she has a texture preference for urinating on soft surfaces like blankets, towels, and the couch. Vet says she's perfectly healthy. I love that you went to the vet. That is amazing that you did that. I'll be honest, a 9-month-old kitten, because I'm also a veterinary technician, the first thing I think is there could be an underlying medical cause. So I love that you went to your vet. If your vet didn't get a urinalysis sample via cystocentesis, which is just a funny fancy word where we put a needle in the bladder, I swear it's harmless, so we can get a nice sample and then get it tested, I would definitely have your veterinarian do that if they haven't had a chance to do that, or if they wanted to kind of keep an eye on it and recheck, because young kittens tend to miss the box more so due to medical issues, but also cats can miss the box for a lot of reasons. So one of the first things I would do is make sure you have an appropriate litter box set up. So that's a long conversation, but I have a free handout on my website at chirpsandchatter.com that goes over the ABCs of litter boxes. And I think that that's a great place to start because many of us do the whole one litter box in the basement thing. And many of us have more than one cat and we don't realize that they want their resources easily accessible to them. Another cat or an animal or even your kid who is not being malicious at all, they could just like to play and dance and your cat's afraid to go in the room with the litter box or go all the way down the stairs with the litter box. So check out that resource, make sure you have enough litter boxes, increase the litter boxes, and she may not like the litter that you're using. The fact that she's using the carpets, good observation. Of course, management, keep all those things up to the best of your ability. But then what I would do is maybe try something called a litter box cafeteria, fun times, right? So what that is what you do is you ask your cat what they want. So you set up a few appropriate sized litter boxes. So I make my litter boxes out of Sterilite containers. Here's an example. of an appropriately sized box. And unfortunately, guys, that's not what they're selling. They're very small. Poor cats can't even turn around in those. But I would take a few boxes, and this is, so you should have boxes otherwise too, but this is the experiment. Put different substrates in each box right next to each other. One, cats tend to like unscented clay clumping litter, so avoid crystals. Guys, there's a pumpkin spice litter at freaking Halloween. What are we doing, you guys? Cats have sensitivity. They have very sensitive respiratory tracts. And if you hate going to Bath and Body Works, can you imagine making your cat do that every time they go to the bathroom? So unscented, but try the litter you use in one box, some unscented clumping litters in the other, and see what your cat likes. Keep a Post-it, see what they like, and then gradually introduce them to that litter. I know that was a very long answer, but there's so many reasons why cats house soil, but checking out that litter box handout on my website is a great place to start, along with some of the other things I mentioned. Okay, I love cat talk too. My cat doesn't drink. He's on wet food, says 80%. Oh, that's such a great question, Carl. All cats need to drink more water, right? We're all worried about their kidneys, and cats are super cool, but they are desert animals, right? So that's maybe why if you're like, why won't my cat drink water? So a few things that I would recommend, which you might already be doing, Carl, but you're going to see me saying similar things. Increase the resources. So for example, I have 5 cats and a dog and a human husband, right? I have quite a lot of animals, as you can see, but I have 2 or 3 waters on each floor. So, and I have different drinking receptacles because, yeah, there's the classic water cat bowl, which is great, but I think choices are important. Even if your cat, like, guys, I drink coffee every morning. I have like 100 different coffee cups. And then these cats have 1 drinking receptacle. So I'm not saying you have to go crazy and get 100, but try some different things. Give them a water fountain. I really like margarita glasses, especially for senior cats, because this is a lot for a cat over the age of 7. Or if you have a younger cat with some mobility issues. So having the water higher, like a margarita glass, it's a shallow bowl. So their whisker, like they can really get a good drink, and their whiskers aren't pushing up against the sides, which some cats aren't a big fan of, some are. But again, choices are important. So you could do anything from a margarita glass to a dog bowl to some people have cups, because some cats like cups. So you find out what your cat likes, but also provide various reasons. Like if you have 1 cat, have a water on each floor at least, maybe near their favorite resting areas. Another thing that's been really helpful to help my cats increase their water intake, I have one of those dog water bowls that's really shallow and large. I put a ping pong ball in it. I know this sounds silly, but it causes the water to ripple and kind of look similar to a lake. And I just did it for fun to see. And my cats I started actively seeing them drink, and they have a lot of different choices. I saw them actively starting to drink out of that bowl so much more. You can also make the water a little more flavorful. So sometimes if you get some tuna juice without salt, ideally, and freeze it in an ice cube and place that ice cube in the morning in their water bowl. So there's a lot of fun ways to make water more easily accessible to your cat. Those are a few recommendations. I love that you feed wet food because, like you mentioned, they are getting a lot of water intake in that. And then sometimes you can even put, with my one cat, she's a senior girl, along with all the other stuff I'm doing, I put a little, like a teaspoon of water with her wet food so she gets even more water. So those are a few things that you could do. I'm loving all the questions. For everyone tuning in, my name is Tabitha Kucera, and you are joining me in the All About Cats Ask a Cat Behavior Consultant questions. So, oh my God, there's people from everywhere. Oh, I love seeing registered vet techs. Whoop, whoop. Shout out to the animal professionals out there, guys. Say thank you to a vet tech today. Let's see. Why my older cat doesn't let my little cat use litter boxes. I have 3 of those. Very good observation that you noticed that. So I kind of touched on that earlier, Gloria, and I said a lot of people don't have an appropriate litter box set up, which again, I used to not have one, you guys. Like, I'm a veterinary technician. This was before I had all these behavior credentials and I didn't know as much, right? Know better, do better. That's why so many of you are here. So what I had my litter boxes in the basement, and it wasn't appropriate litter box setup. An appropriate litter box setup is one per cat. So one litter box per cat. So for example, if you have 3 cats, you should have 4 litter boxes. And this is just basic guidelines, because a lot of people are like, well, my cat's using the box. And what I mean by appropriate litter box setup is like, I need water and food, right? So do your cats. I need a nice bed, things like that. An appropriate litter box setup is just basic, like the baseline for just their needs. But a lot of us don't think to do those things until they're having some struggles. So a lot of people will have 4 litter boxes, but they're right next to each other. That's 1 litter box to a cat, you guys. Can you imagine? I live in a house with one other human, and we only have 1 bathroom, and it's horrible. I don't recommend it. It increases the tension. It is stressful. And I'm a well-socialized human. Most cats don't go through kitten kindergarten, unfortunately. Let's make that more of a thing. But so what I would recommend doing is, if you have all 3 of those litter boxes next to each other, I would spread them out throughout the house. And then the other thing that's really important for all cat resources, actually, this could be really helpful for your cat's water too, is when we look at cats' resources, which are food, water, scratching surfaces, litter boxes, vertical spaces, and hiding places. Those are cats' resources in my brain. All of them, when it comes to us placing the litter box, or let's say the water, there should be an entrance and an exit. So what I mean by that, let's say you have a dresser, a closet, like a closet, and you put the litter, because people like to hide litter boxes. You guys, everybody poops. Don't hide if I had to do a backflip and go in a tunnel to go to the bathroom, I'm going to just go in the middle of the floor too. So we have to kind of think more like a cat, right? So when you're asking a cat to go into a cave, essentially, right? Go into a closet where there's a bunch of stuff on either side and there's only 1 entrance and exit. Or you might put it in a corner where there is something on this side and something on this side. Guys, cats are prey and predator animals, man. So unfortunately, even though you guys are the best cat caregivers ever, tuning in, trying to learn more, and I'm sure you take great care of your kitties, your cats have stress with everything they do because they're prey and predator animals. They're always worried about being killed. We can't take that instinct away from them. And that's why those covered litter boxes, you might have heard that cats don't really like those. There's a lot of reasons for that, but a lot of cats don't like them because you're asking a cat to go into an ambush area and not see what's going on and not feel safe when they're doing something that's very vulnerable. So I would definitely recommend, again, checking out that litter box handout I have on my website for free to download that goes over the ABCs of litter boxes for an appropriate litter box setup. But also, I would try to increase the litter boxes and place them in areas of low tension. So, you know, we're going to avoid, we call them ambush areas, but basically like where people tend to put litter boxes, right? In the basement. So the cat has to go all the way down the stairs, past a doorway. And that's the only, so if a cat is body blocking, casually laying in front of that door, guys, what is that cat supposed to do? Which is why it's really important to have litter boxes on every floor and easily accessible. And then also, like, if your cat's having a medical issue, whether they're a senior cat or a younger cat, which I see a lot of underlying medical issues cause or contribute to house soiling out of the box. I want the box to be easily accessible to them. I don't want your 10-year-old cat having to walk down a flight of stairs when they most likely have some degenerative joint disease of some point. I'm going to have a litter box in my basement, but I'm also going to have it. Where's my senior cat's favorite resting spot? There's going to be a litter box around or near that area. Because guys, I'm only 37 and sometimes I'm like, do I really want to walk upstairs to go pee? And we want to make cats feel safe. So I could talk about litter boxes forever. I'm loving all the questions. Let's see here. So many. Oh, consistently. I adopted. Sorry, guys, I read slow, right? There's so many amazing, amazing questions. My cat is afraid of vacuums and my cat is scared of outside. I just hold him in my arms. He sees someone, he scratches everything in his way and tries to keep out. So really good observation. You identified that your cat's afraid, right? By first off, you probably saw their body language, like eyes were dilated. The cat was actively trying to fight or flight, right? Flight, get away, because cats don't like conflict, bless their souls. They just want to run and hide. But if your cat's afraid of something, whether it's a vacuum or outside, the last thing you should do is present them in front of it. So that's a common misconception. Just like with humans, we're like, let's just throw them. Like I was thrown on a roller coaster when I was younger because of peer pressure. And guess what? I hate them even more now. So we call it flooding, but it basically means push it, like whatever the human or animal is afraid of, we introduce it to them full force. So you're afraid of this vacuum? I'm going to hold you so you can't escape. You have no choice. You can't get away, which is also not great. That's already kind of setting up that cat to not, like, you're going to just handle it. And unfortunately, that's not how that works, right? Fear doesn't work like that. You can't just say, get over it. So when you're exposing them to what they're afraid of full force, not only in many cases can you make it not, it doesn't help, but it actually makes it worse. So hopefully no one's afraid of spiders, but this is the example I like to use because I care about my humans too. But if you are afraid of spiders, right, and I threw you in a closet or a small room with spiders, not only, guys, are you still going to be afraid of spiders when you get out of that closet, but also you might even generalize that fear that you felt to things that look like spiders. So you're actually making it worse. So for example, if you saw a speck of dust, like a tumbleweed type thing, and it kind of moves like a spider, you're going to feel that same fight or flight response that you feel when you see a spider. So when it comes to your cat being afraid of a vacuum or outside or anything for that matter, I do not recommend forcing them to interact with it. That's a big old, let's skip that because that's flooding, right? And flooding causes more fear and definitely doesn't help the situation. What I would do instead is, as management, which means, hey, this is what we're going to do right away to make things manageable for my cat and make things not worse while we work on addressing behavior concerns, because changing emotional states and behavior take time and usually in some cases need the help of a certified behavior professional like myself or another one in your area. And what I'm going to do is ideally just, like, for example, if your cat's afraid of outside, they're most likely living indoors with you. I would not expose them to outside. So that's realistic. That's management. For the vacuum, I would, for example, not vacuum the downstairs while my cat's down there. I'm going to give my cat some Silvervine or catnip or some kibble, like some treats, or a licky mat, which is like a mat where they eat like churro or something yummy, in another room. And then I'm going to vacuum. I'm going to try to get them as far away from the trigger as possible. Now, when it comes to changing their emotional response, like I want my cat to be okay with the vacuum. That is a little, we have to break that down and identify your cat's trigger. And we have to use something called desensitization instead of flooding. So flooding is, you're afraid, boom, it's right here. Everything's worse now. Poor cat feels like they have to escape because they have no choice. The cat's put in a situation where they're really uncomfortable, and then the poor human might get hurt as well, but the cat's terrified, right? Instead, we're going to do something called desensitization, which is where we identify, because every animal's an individual. So we identify what they're afraid of, like what trigger, like for example, and we identify a non-stressful starting point. So let's say your vacuum is off and laying down. Does your cat exhibit like any signs of stress? If your cats exhibit minimal to no signs of stress, and we would start with the cat at a distance because triggers are better far away, then I would start to maybe give the cat a treat every time they look at the vacuum. And we would gradually move them closer to the vacuum. And while we're also watching their body language, making sure, and this is where behavior professionals need it, because it sounds easy, right? But a lot of people misread their cat's body language, and it can be hard to know, are they scared? Like, are they okay with this? Or a lot of people think their cats are okay with things when they're actually not, and they're flooding instead of using that gradual reintroduction of that thing, pairing it with good stuff at a distance that cat's comfortable with. Because some cats might be cool with the vacuum on the ground, but when it stands up, it's very different. And a lot of people are like, what the heck, kitty? But guys, like a bat over there versus a bat in my hand like this, very different, right? So we have to really meet our cats where they're comfortable and then gradually work up by pairing it with good stuff as well, which is classical counter conditioning. Like you get a treat every time you look at the vacuum at a distance, and we start with the vacuum off and on its side. Then we work up to just vacuum sounds, like on a CD or something at a low rate, and then we start pairing them and so forth and so forth. But that's how I handle a lot of cats that are fearful. So many great questions. So many great questions, party. Oh, this is a great question. Clifford asked, is there a trick to stabilizing the cat scratcher climbing tree on your door? Oh, my door. I was like, whose door? I can't get my cats to use mine. So I love, Clifford, that you observed, because a lot of cat stuff, if you guys are like, my cat doesn't really like that, let's look, instead of saying my cat's difficult, because sometimes I hear jokes like that and I'm like, is it? Like, let's look at why. And a lot of cat products, like cat trees, they're created really unstable. So they're top heavy, or cat scratchers. Like they have those cat scratchers that go on the door. Guys, no wonder your cat doesn't use them. Your cat tries to scratch it and it's flinging all over the place. Or they jump on a cat scratcher or a cat tree and it's unstable. That's not cool. Like, again, I wouldn't go on an unstable chair more than once. So think about these things when it comes to getting vertical surfaces for your cat. This lovely thing behind me, which is on my door, it's just attached with metal. So I just literally slide it onto my door. Unfortunately, the place where I get it from has been sold out for quite a long time. So I don't know if their factory is having issues with production, but this thing is awesome. So it's actually on the top and the bottom. And with most scratchers, if you can stabilize them at the top and the bottom, that's really helpful. So avoiding this like crossy moving, the cat smacks it and it hits them back in the face. They don't want to use that at all. Let's see, I'm just gonna get a sip of water. Thank you for everyone tuning in. I was worried that no one would want to talk cats, and oh my gosh, there's a lot of you. I love it, I love it, I love it. Let's see. My cat doesn't meow often, but he does chirp or make a brrrr sound. Is he trying to tell me something? Again, I love how observant you guys of your cats. So Madeline, most likely, yes. So when a cat, we call it it sounds like it might be a trill. That's what it's called, where they go, I can't roll my R's. I can't make beautiful cat sounds. It's horrible. But you go, and it's really, usually they do it like when you first come home or when they are just stoked to see you. That's actually your cat showing love and being like, oh, I love you. Like just a cute little trill. Because meowing is actually usually to communicate something. So cats only meow to each other during mating, to their kittens during the first few weeks when their hearing isn't there. And then in some cases in fighting. So cats are so smart that they figured out meowing to humans, because they don't do it a lot to each other, is a way to communicate with us. So usually when your cat is vocalizing like a true meow, as you guys probably know, they're usually trying to say, I would love some food. I would love to play. I would love some attention, like an information seeking behavior. They're trying to they want to play, or they're kind of bored. That's usually trying to get something from us, which is awesome. Cats are so smart. Cats are so smart. Let's see here. Someone mentioned I made a storage tote bin into a litter box. Yes, love it. That, like I said, I usually take Sterilite containers, 18 to 30 gallon. And like that, the one that I showed before in my office, boop, that's an under the bed storage container. Not only are they like $5, but they're appropriately sized. Your cats can turn around in them. which is really nice. And for senior cats, you can even cut low entrances because a lot of cats, guys, go over the age of 7 and sometimes even younger have degenerative joint disease or some sort of arthritis, especially in their coxofemoral joint, which is their bum, which is what they use to bend to defecate, step. And guys, I don't know about you, but I want going to the bathroom to be easy. Like, again, I don't want to do a backflip to poop or pee. So with the Sterilite containers, sometimes you can cut a low entrance. So instead of your cat, because it might not seem much like asking your cat to do that, but when you have a cat who is a senior, and again, pain is often missed for a variety of reasons, just like with humans. Hopefully none of you struggle with chronic pain, but if you do, even though your doctors are great, you probably really have to advocate for yourself because it's something that I see very well in cats, but it's something that gets missed a lot. So if you have an older cat, a low entrance box is really helpful. Or if you have a cat that's maybe pooping outside of the box, right near the box, they're trying to get there, guys. It hurts. So let's make it easy and just let them walk in like this instead of having to do big jumps. Because I know you're like, they could do it. I can jump, but you guys, my knees are really bad. I shouldn't be jumping. And if I had to do that every time I pooped, that would be a bummer. So that's awesome. I love storage tote bins. Let's see. Someone asked about biting. Again, this is a more complex issue. Behavior is complex. And cat behavior consultants and, I'm a Karen Pryor certified training partner, so I train both cats and dogs. We exist out there. So please reach out to a certified cat behavior professional. I see virtual consultations if you're not in Cleveland, so I can help you over the internet. But sometimes for some of the more complex issues, I know you could feel really stuck because I'll be honest, there's not a lot of certified cat behavior consultants or veterinary behaviorists, which are awesome too. Those are veterinarians who did a lot of additional training to become veterinary behaviorists. Both of those are great options to look for in your area. We are limited, and I understand that, but most of us are doing virtual, so please don't be afraid to ask for help. But they said, my cat's a biter. He's been that way since a kitten. Redirecting doesn't help. I don't like punishing him, putting him in a room for a few minutes. What can I do? So since he's been biting since he was a kitten, right? Most likely some not great habits were formed. So like, for example, a lot of people play with their cats with their hands and their feet, or they don't play with toys that are like, for example, this is a cat dancer. I can go on about play. This is the appropriate length for a wand toy. So it should be very far away from you. Because you guys, I see toys like this and the client's doing their best and the poor cat's like, I'm going to scratch you. It looks like it's basically the same, basically asking you to scratch their hands. So without much more information, the thing I would say is to start to keep a log of when your cat bites, what's happening before and after, so you can identify. Also assess your cat's body language. Because again, he could be biting because since he's a kitten, it's unlikely, but I've seen lots of cats bite because they were suffering from a medical issue. I can't tell you guys how many people they labeled their cats grumpy cats. Please stop doing that. When the cats were actually painful as heck. And I would bite too if it hurt when I moved. But again, so many people use these labels like grumpy cat or fractious cat instead of like looking at the true, what's going on with the cat? How comfortable is the cat? Why is the cat biting? So one of the things, since he's younger, redirecting doesn't help. One of the go-to things I would do is increase his enrichment, which enrichment is just a fun word to describe allowing an animal or a cat or us, right, to be a cat. So scratch, have prey and predatory outlets. Like they should have hiding spaces. They should have opportunities to kill things. I know that sounds weird, but like my cats are all indoors. They go outside on harnesses. I have a catio. They're trained to their harness because you can't just throw a harness on a kitty and be like, go. Most cats, just like if you threw something on me I didn't know, I'm going to be weirded out. Everything should be trained, right? So increasing their enrichment, which it could be feeding them with puzzle toys, which is like because I love mice too. So I don't want to bring mice in for my cat to kill, but I need to allow my cat to hunt and chase and pounce. And I'll be honest, a lot of cats' physical and mental needs aren't being met, which causes, as you can imagine with the pandemic, you guys, I'm sure a lot of humans' physical and mental needs weren't met. And there was a lot of mental struggle. Like we were struggling when you don't have enrichment. Most cats don't have enough enrichment, you guys. So I would start scheduled playtimes like around the same time per day, because consistent and predictable routines, guys, again, we could talk about the pandemic and how it threw us all for a loop. They're really helpful for your cats too. So like before you go to bed every night or when you wake up every morning, whatever works for you, you get appropriate wand toys like a brrrr or a cat charmer. And by appropriate, I mean lengthwise and are fun. Because some of the cat toys I see, guys, it's like a animal this big on a string. This is not prey, right? This is a kitten might play with this on a string, but there's so many cool toys out there that are similar to prey. Because when we're playing with our cats, we're basically mimicking the prey hunt cycle. We need to let them be cats. They are cats, right? So by having these scheduled playtimes, you're giving your cat an appropriate outlet to catch, pounce, kill the bird, or whatever it may be. And you have wand toys out all the time, but the wand toys for the scheduled playtimes are always in the closet. So you have 2 or 3, and they only come out for scheduled playtime. So they stay novel and exciting. And then also like feeding with puzzle toys, which can be really helpful. There's this really great website called foodpuzzlesforcats.com. Because guys, cats naturally hunt 8 to 20 times per day. It's a big part of their life. And they usually eat very, very small meals. So like a mouse is only 30 kcals. I know that's weird that I know that. But cats like to eat very small meals at a time. So what we've done is we bring them in a house, which I'm okay with because every situation's different, right? Because my cats only go outside in safe, because I live in the city, in a harness or a catio or something. But we bring the cat in and then we're like, here's this bowl. And they're like, I'm not foraging. If you ever see your cats pawing at things, we're not allowing them to hunt or chase or pounce or use those muscles. If you've ever seen your cat chasing a toy, like they need to utilize those muscles. So the biggest thing I would say about the kitten question, the redirection, is you need to increase his prey and predatory outlets. And there's a lot of different ways to enrich your cat. Like I said, scheduled, and it should be more than one thing, right? We all have like I love my clients as a vet tech. I'll be like, because you ask questions, right? Even just for just the general exam, how do you play with your cat? People always look at me like, what? Like it's a weird question. And they're like, he has toys. Yeah, he has the same basket of toys he's had for 2 years. What else? And I'm not saying that self-play isn't important, like interactive cat toys and things like that, but we need to do more with our cats. Whether it's clicker training or playing with them, like the scheduled play times, like my cats get all of that. But then also like before they go to bed they get dry food as a snack. I have 5 cats. So I spread 2 to 3 kibble in each puzzle toy, and I have a collection. So here's an example. See, I have all this stuff in my office, you guys. This is an example of a Doc and Phoebe puzzle toy for my cats to hunt and kill and chase. Here's another really great example. This is just the bottom of an Easter egg, which is a really good beginner toy. Because sometimes people buy these cats these complex puzzle toys and they're like, they don't get it. It's my cat. And I'm like, whoa, you threw way too much at them. Let's start. And some of your cats might do that, but some of them won't. But there's so many different options for puzzle toys. So definitely increasing enrichment. Give them more outlets. Let them be cats. So many questions. For everyone tuning in, my name's Tabitha, and you are joining me for the All About Cats live stream, answering all your cat behavior questions. I am the owner of Chirps and Chatter Cat and Dog Behavior Consultant, a registered vet tech, and a certified cat behavior consultant. Okay, let's see. So many amazing questions. I'm going to get some water while I read these beautiful questions. Why do my cats require running water from the faucet? A lot of people mentioned, I love how all the water is coming up. Again, it's small amounts. It's more natural from a cat's perspective. And again, some humans have their coffee cup. Like For example, if I give my husband a coffee cup that he's great, but it's smaller, he's like, why'd you give me this small coffee cup? You know, I eat or drink a bunch of coffee. So it's all about individual preference too. It's not cats in general. But we can kind of look at your cat as an individual. And if you notice they really like drinking from the tap, but you don't want to run the tap all the time, I understand that. But we can create that somewhere else that's more appropriate. Or you can run your tap all the time, because that's cool too. By getting a fountain, or they have a lot of different types of cat fountains out there now. They do have ones that literally, I can't remember the name of it, but it literally is basically like a mini tap that they've created, which I love. And it's kind of like in a fountain structure, and you could have that available for your cat. But again, choices, provide your cat with lots of choices. Because sometimes my clients are like, we increased the resources. I added more waters throughout the house, but they don't use them that much. But then they're like, the tension's decreased. And I'm like, just because you don't see them using them, choices are cool. And cats have a lot of competition. Like, I grew up with 3 siblings, and when there was one more Diet Coke in the fridge, guys, I'm a nice gal, but I resorted to physical aggression with my brother sometimes to get that. And I'm socialized. Again, most cats don't go through appropriate kitten socialization protocols, or kitten kindergarten is what I like to say. And then we bring them in a house and we're like, here's all your resources in one room. And they're not where we are. Like, you guys see, this is my office. I spend a lot of time here, and I have a lot of resources throughout all my house. I have a litter box in here. I have a cat carrier under my desk that's always open because it's a resting spot, and it helps to create a positive association with the cat carrier. It just doesn't come out when bad things happen. And thankfully my cats love the vet, because we've worked hard on doing that. I have a cat tree right here. I have a cat station where my cat has been taught to station, like stay, instead of walk on my keyboard. But it's because I'm in here all day. My cats want to spend time with me. I can't just be like, all your stuff's in one room away from where we are. And I see that happen a lot with cats. And we're like, we have a cat room, and I love that. But guys, our cats love us. They're bonded to us. And where your resources are matters, like, a lot. Let's see here. So many great questions. Wow. Oh my gosh, so many. Loving it, loving it, loving it. Cat bites sometimes, but we play with him a lot. So again, those same questions that kind of are similar come up. I love that you play with him, but how do you play with him, right? And I know it sounds silly, but I have a handout on how to play with your cat too. Because these are things I'm a vet tech, you guys. I grew up with animals, and I didn't know a lot of this stuff, which is why we have events like this, because we're learning so much more about cats, and they're really, really misunderstood. So I would start to identify, when is your cat biting? What's going on? Because a lot of the times, same thing with dogs, but cats too, a lot of the times when they're biting, it's due to fear, pain, or like irritation. Like, for example, we're petting them and we're not paying attention. And most cats don't like long body strokes. Most cats prefer petting on their head, shoulders, and neck. And then the person's like, the cat bit out of nowhere. I'll be honest, you guys, that very rarely happens. I know it appears as if it does, but usually all cats have individual preferences. Most cats don't like this. Your cat might, and you have a relationship with your cat, but your friend's cat might not. Like, if my husband comes up and makes out with me, that's okay. That makes sense, because I give him consent, and we have a learning history. We have a relationship. If some stranger comes up and makes out with me, that is not okay, because relationships matter, right? So think about that when your cat is biting. Like, who are they biting? What's the context? Were they afraid? Did we accidentally miss when I was petting them? They stared at my hands and their tail started swishing a little bit. Those are 2 pretty big signs to say, please stop, I'm uncomfortable. And a lot of the times we miss those, and then we catch them scratching or biting, and we're like, it happened out of nowhere, when actually that cat gave us quite a few signs to say, I'm uncomfortable, please stop. I'm uncomfortable, please stop. So I think it would, if you notice, because I see a lot of similar questions, if you notice that your cat's biting, because they can bite for so many reasons, usually though, it's due to fear or pain. Or over arousal, where, like, for example, you're playing with your cat with a toy and they bite you. Maybe that toy's not appropriate, because again, we're mimicking their prey kill cycle when we're playing with them. And I know some people that pet their cat when they're playing with them, and that's like them in the middle of a hunt outside and you going like, pet, they're going to redirect to you guys. They're doing their thing. So when we play, we do not pet. But a lot of people, they even have toys that go on your hands. Oh my gosh. Please don't use those. That's what creates, then these are toys to the cats, and we taught them that. But I think it's really important to look at what's happening. What's the cat's body language? Are they telling me they're uncomfortable? Because cats don't bite for no reason. And usually it's because they're communicating they're uncomfortable, or they might be scared. But the first steps is increasing enrichment, but also identifying their triggers and how to interact with them appropriately. Let's see here. Oh my gosh, we're already 40 minutes in. This is crazy. I was worried I would not have enough to talk about. What was I thinking? What do you think about top entry litter boxes from Fabio? You probably know my answer if you guys have been tuning in the whole time. I'm not a huge fan because, and I'm guessing what he means is those litter boxes that like are covered and have a hole at the top. So literally you're asking the cat to jump into its own stool to go to the bathroom. I'm not a huge fan. And when I say it like that to clients, they usually tend to understand why, because literally cats are way cleaner than us. Like, we're cool and stuff. Cats are way cleaner than us. And another reason why having litter boxes on every floor is important. Because if this litter box, I have 5 cats, even though I scoop like I'm supposed to twice a day, they like the living room ones the best, for example. So I scoop those twice a day and the other ones once a day. But that makes sense. I'm in the living room the most. But if there's urine or stool in there, which it can easily fill up, even though I'm doing an appropriate size box and they have choice to go to another one, because cats are very clean creatures, you guys. They do not they're meticulously beautiful, clean creatures. So to me, asking your cat to jump into a litter box with their own stool, it's small, it's enclosed, so vulnerable. It's just, again, even if your cat's using it, it's not the best. We want it to be not stressful when they go to the bathroom, right? And that's asking a lot of your cat. And it can cause a lot of stress and issue every time you go to the bathroom, which then causes generalized anxiety, house soiling. I can go on and on and on. We want, like I said, we want our cats to enjoy going to the bathroom and have it not be stressful, right? Let's say, how can I make car rides less stressful? I love that you're thinking about that. So there's a few things you could do, and this is from LY. There's a few things you can do to help make car rides. And again, lives are fun because I'm just I could go on and on about these. You can always hire a certified professional, but these are like quick on the go answers, still helpful. We like short things. I get it as humans. So one of the biggest things is carrier training first. So before you even take the cat into the car, right? I want the carrier to be a positive thing, because most of the time, guys, it isn't for us or for the cats. So a few things that I would recommend doing if your cat's, like if you hold up your carrier and your cats run, that's a pretty strong fear response, guys, right? So that tells me, okay, my cat's really afraid. I would start with buying a new carrier. Let's start fresh. I'm going to buy an appropriately sized carrier. I have the one under my desk is super big though, so I won't pull it out. But ideally, the appropriate carrier should be large. It should ideally, even if it's plastic, it should have the screws so the top can come off, because we shouldn't be pulling or dragging cats out of carriers. We should be taking the carrier apart, because this is just, not only is it terrifying for the cat, but it's not safe for us as animal professionals or cat lovers in general. So ideally a safe carrier is just an appropriately sized one. You have something cozy in it, whether it already has a cushion or you put a towel. And then what I would start with, if your cat's already afraid of carriers, I would just have the bottom out first in one of your favorite resting areas. So again, not in your basement that you're never in, like in your living room, wherever you hang out. I want it to be part of the furniture. Start with the bottom. And then, to be fair, your cat might be okay with the bottom and the top, but I don't know your cat's how afraid they are, right? So we have to start at a place they're not stressful. So start with just the bottom of the carrier, and then just put catnip, silvervine in it. When you're playing with them, play with them around it, because in it might be too much. So play with them in it and around it. Give them treats in it and around it. Then slowly add the lid and then the door. And that can be, those are some pretty easy steps that don't take much time from us that can help make cat carriers way more comfortable. And then when it comes to the car, before you even get in the car, I usually recommend starting it and heating it up or cooling it down. Cats are very temperature sensitive, just like all living beings, right? And I have heated car seats, you guys. I live in Ohio. I'm never living my life without them. Again, I can wear coats. I know where I'm going. I'm well socialized, but getting into a car that's already warm, oh my God, so amazing. So in the winter, I start my car before my cat even comes in and I warm the car up. In the summer, etc., like I'll cool the car down. When I'm putting the carrier in my car, I'm a huge fan of putting it behind your passenger seat on the ground because it's very sturdy. It's very sturdy. And then you're not going to be doing this the whole time. Because most cats don't like that if they're already stressed out. I know it's hard for us, but that way, or in the back seat belted. Because again, I don't think we realize how unsteady things are. And you're going on a roller coaster ride, and the poor cat is like, I don't know where I'm at. I feel like I'm gonna puke. And then I do also recommend covering the carrier with a towel to limit visual stimuli. When a cat is fearful, or any animal for that being, including humans, everything is harder. Like when you have anxiety or you're in fight or flight, everything is harder. So whether it's a sound or sight, something that you might be like, this is easy. It's not. So whatever I can do to make the environment more comfortable, and having that, you could put the towel 3 times over or cover the whole thing. 3 times over can give that cat a choice, but I would cover the main part. Most cats like to be completely covered because unfortunately most cats have a pretty strong fear to carriers before I meet them. You could definitely you can also carrier train with a clicker and all that stuff as well. But I would keep it covered and well stabilized in the car. I would also play classical music or purring. So there's a purr app called Easy, E-Z purr app. Purring is a self-soothing behavior for cats, and it's cool for us. So in my car, I'm playing through a cat's ear like classical music. So not just anything, not the radio, because we're not controlling what comes out and it can actually make it worse. I'm playing classical music or purring to do what I can in the environment to make it less stressful. So those are a few things that can be really helpful to make car rides less stressful right away. Even if your cat's already afraid, there's still things we can do to make those less stressful for them. And like I said, anyone who's tuning in, I'm Tabitha from Chirps and Chatter. And I'm here with All About Cats, answering all your burning cat behavior questions. We have a few more minutes left. I love it. So many questions. Love it, love it, love it. And like I said, we'll be doing a lot more of these with me. So I know I can't get to every question, but definitely get more expert insights from me and other experts at the All About Cats community forum. And then you can always follow and like me at Chirps and Chatter on Facebook and Instagram for even more tips and tricks. My cat is 14 years old. He scoots his butt across the floor. I spoke to 2 vets about this behavior, and they said cats can't get worms. You are correct. That does sound very odd. So cats can definitely get parasites or intestinal parasites or worms. So, and sometimes we do see cats scoot their tushies due to the discomfort of those. So I would definitely get a second opinion. No one knows everything. Second opinions. Cats can definitely get intestinal parasites, and getting a fecal sample and bringing that up to your vet. I highly recommend finding fear-free or cat-friendly vets, where you could go to fearfreepets.com or catvets.com. And those are vets that they have some other certifications, and they tend to do things even more cat-friendly. There's a lot of great vets that don't have those things that do that too, but it's a good place for you to start, since it sounds like you've had some bad situations with some of the people you've worked with. So I would definitely get a second opinion. Cats can definitely have intestinal parasites, and good job observing that your cat was scooting, because that's not a normal behavior. Your cat may have constipation or some other discomfort back there as well. Whether it's constipation with defecating, because so many senior cats have constipation and we just think it's normal. Guys, constipation hurts. It hurts. So it's not as simple as saying, oh, that's normal for that cat. That hurts, man. So yeah, I would definitely recommend getting a second opinion, bringing in a fecal, and then getting your cat a nice thorough exam, ideally with blood work and a blood pressure. If your cat hasn't had blood work or blood pressure within the last year, because it's good to just check that stuff out. We need to know what's going on internally. And your vet can be the greatest vet ever, but they need that blood work to help them, let them know exactly how those kidneys and other organs are doing. So let's see here. So many great questions. Oh my gosh, Beth's cat has stolen food and broken into a cabinet and ate through a bag of bagels. Not sure what to do. I feed him 4 small meals a day since 2 times a day won't cut it. So with that behavior, Beth, I would management first, right? So management, get some baby, what do they call? I don't have kids, you guys can tell, but I use them for dogs and cats all the time. The cabinet things, the things that you could purchase from most stores to make that less accessible to them. Again, that's management. That's not forever, but we can't just say, don't do that, cat, because they don't understand what you're saying. So that's a great place to start. The other thing I would recommend doing is talking to your vet about calculating their calories. Like I make weight loss plans as a vet tech and a cat behavior consultant for my clients, and your vet can totally help, because sometimes you'd be surprised with some foods. And I think just getting an idea of what his resting energy rate is and his normal amount of calories he needs a day. So making sure he's getting enough food, because for example, I've worked with a lot of clients where I've calculated that and the clients were great, but they weren't feeding their cats enough. And unfortunately, sometimes that the information on the bags isn't always the go-to. So I would calculate the calories to make sure he's getting enough. And then I would also start looking into puzzle toys. I think he's like, I want to play with my food. I want to have some fun with my food. I want to be a cat. So like I said, foodpuzzlesforcats.com is a great place to start. But I think that he would love those. And then instead of going in your cabinets, he's enjoying his kibble with his puzzle toys, hunting around instead of your cabinets. Let's see. Why do cats smell something, then have a weird open mouth face right after? By Dana. That's a great question. That's something called the Flehmen response. So cats actually, the best way to explain it is they're kind of tasting the scent. So it's right up here for them. And like, if they smell, usually it's something new and interesting. So usually they're not smelling like that same bed, or maybe the other cat left a smell on it. But usually when a cat smells something new and interesting, they'll go, I can't do it. A cat does it better. They'll go, they do it better. And basically what they're doing with that Flehmen response is they're tasting the scent. So they're gathering more information about that. Oh, awesome observation that you notice your cat does that though. Love it, love it, love it. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, I'm loving all the feedback, guys. Party. We'll have a lot more of these, I promise. Because I know I'm loving all the questions. Let's see here. How to get my cat to not be fond of eating plastic bags by Essence. So cats actually love plastic bags. Some of your cats might like plastic bags. There's a few reasons why. From what I heard last, because plastic bags can sometimes have animal products in them. So like the excess that isn't being used for food and things like that, the plastic is in there. So sometimes that can cause the cat to find it more appealing. The biggest thing is they like how it feels. Like they like, kind of like I say mouthfeel. Like I don't smoke, but I'm a gum chewer. I really like chewing gum. So for cats, they really like how the bag feels on their tongue. And your cat might just be a chewer. So I know we talk about chewing with dogs a lot, but not with cats. And some cats like to chew, guys. They have chew. Now we don't have as many options, unfortunately, but some of the things I recommend tend to be for petite dogs, but I use them for cats. But what I would recommend is management. Again, management. Let's just keep those bags away in the meantime. Like when I get my groceries, I'm going to put my groceries away, and then the bags go into the recycling or into a cabinet. Ideally as management, let's just do that, because we don't want them to harm themselves, get stuck in the bag. Lots of things can happen, and we definitely want to prevent that. But then also I would take that as a note to be like, maybe my cat wants to chew some stuff. So let's get him some cat grass or some catnip plants or right? They sell silver vine chew sticks that are like little sticks that have yummy stuff on them. It's a scent that cats really like called silver vine. Somewhat similar to catnip, but better for a lot of cats. And they could just sit and chew those safely. They have other chewing products for kitties. Like they have some treats that are kind of like, I'm trying to think of the names of all of them off the top of my head. But I know Churro and a few of the other treat brands have like chew sticks. They do chew them pretty quickly because they're fairly soft. They're not like the dog ones, but that can help your cat allow that outlet in a more safe way. So that's definitely what I would recommend for that. Okay, let's see. So many questions. Boop, boop, boop. Hi, why does my cat like to rub his face on the pointy surfaces or table corners by Simone? Great question. I love how observant you guys are. So cats, I know I've been talking about their scent a lot. Cats' scent is really important to them. It's actually the way they communicate mostly. Obviously, we don't usually tell what they're scenting. It's usually to communicate with other cats, but they're cats. So that's what they do. And cats have scent glands all over their body. So they have them, this is my unicorn helper. They have them on their cheek. They have them on their their sides. They have them on all four paws. So cats scratch for a lot of reasons. One of them is to spread their scent. Of course, they have them on their bum. They have them on their head. But here, this cheek pheromone is basically, if you guys have ever heard of feel away, that's where that comes from. It's a synthetic form of that scent. But when they put their cheek on something, they're leaving their mark, like a little post-it, like, I was here, my pheromone's there, boom, boom. So usually that's why the cat is rubbing against it. Usually it means they're having a good time and they're just leaving a little post-it that they were there. But scent is so important. Love all these questions. So many wonderful questions. Sorry, I'm reading a lot of them. Let's see here. I think I can do a few more in the last few minutes we have. My cat is gentle, and very affectionate, but the last few times I've taken to the vet, they said he's aggressive and needs to be sedated. So this is a longer question too. Handling, a lot of cats have fear at the vet, just like sometimes humans have fear at the vet, right? And that's because of a lot of reasons. Sedation for kitties, which is when we give medication, usually intramuscularly or IV, so in their muscle or in their veins, to cause them to be sedated so we could safely examine them with less stress. There should be a registered veterinary technician monitoring them. It's usually a light sedation, so we're not intubating. So what if that's best for your cat? It probably is best for your cat. Now, if he's showing signs of fear aggression, I would definitely recommend carrier training, low stress travel, seeking a fear-free certified professional, or again, that cat-friendly vet, because handling fearful animals is a skill. It's hard. And I'll be honest, as a fear-free and low stress handling certified technician, I handle animals very differently than what some of the things I was taught, but we know better, do better. And handling fearful animals is one of my favorite things. So I'm utilizing the comforting sounds. I'm utilizing considered approach, gentle control, and also utilizing pre-visit pharmaceuticals or other medications. So not sedatives, they're anti-anxiety medications that can be given before a vet visit to make things less stressful. Again, not sedatives, because the cat won't just sleep through it. Anxiety's still there, right? So, but could you talk to your vet about pre-visit pharmaceuticals and things like that, and talk about how to make things less stressful for your cat? But sometimes sedation is the less stressful thing for your cat. because just holding them down and getting them to do it, that's why cats don't like that. That's why cats don't like medical procedures, because they're actively saying, please stop, please stop, please stop, please stop, please stop. And then, for example, if you're trying to cut your cat's nails at home and you just hold them down harder, which hopefully I do not recommend doing, that's why most cats, they're panicking because we're holding them harder. So it's definitely not a bad thing. That's something you could definitely talk to more to your vet about and get comfortable, and they can explain to you the procedure and how the veterinary technicians and the veterinarian is there to keep the cat safe and healthy, and they reverse the sedation. And I sedate quite a few cats in the practices I work at. But again, we're considering we don't just sedate and then not use gentle control. So we're utilizing all of these other tools as well. So I would definitely recommend looking into fear-free certified professional. I think that's a great place to start, and or talking to your vet a little bit more about it, because your vet knows that you don't know all the drug things. That's why us as vet techs and vets are there to help you, and you guys can have that discussion about what that looks like, because they're there to help. So don't hesitate to reach out to your vet for that. So it is already 5 o'clock. What? So I want to thank everyone for joining me on my first All About Cats Ask a Cat Behavior Consultant Any Burning Questions live. Like I said, I think we plan on doing more of these, and we didn't even really promote this one, and I'm loving all the feedback and the questions. Please don't hesitate to get more expert insights at the All About Cats community. Again, you can find me at chirpsandchatter.com, CHIRPSANDCHATTER.com. So there are 2 cat sounds, or I'm at Chirps and Chatter on Facebook and Instagram. I'm happy to help if you're having a more severe behavioral issue, as well as a lot of other, look for the veterinary behaviorists in your area or other credentialed, certified cat animal behavior professionals in your area. If you're struggling, don't ever be afraid to ask for help. We all need it. Cats struggle. We all need help. And I really appreciate everyone hanging out with me. And I look forward to future lives and getting to know all of you and your cats more. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Bye.